Today I want to talk about some of the perks of buying a turnkey rental. While it's a little unconventional and a lot of people will plead that you make most of your money through forced appreciation and renovating homes, and we all think about flipping houses when we think of real estate investing. This strategy is going to be more for people who already have a great source of income but don't really have all that much time to put into real estate, and they're not trying to get a second job out of real estate but just want something a lot more passive. Getting a turnkey rental is for these high income earners or medium income earners. You can get started either way, but if you want to have real estate be more passive, turnkey is the way to go. And I'm going to highlight all the best reasons to get into a turnkey rental and why I do them myself. So without further ado, let's get into it. For those of you unfamiliar with what turnkey means, that just means that your unit from day one is ready to go. And sometimes you'll even have tenants placed for you already in these units. When I refer to turnkey, I just mean a unit that's been just renovated or brand new so that you don't have to do anything to the property and you're ready to place a tenant from day one. Why would you want this? Well, one, it's easy. You don't have to worry about any holding costs or trying to renovate or do any calculations. All you have to do is place the tenant, and it's a lot easier to market a unit that's brand new and fancy than it is to market something that's a little more run down at a cheaper price. Even though the values may be the same, you're really looking at attracting better overall tenants more often than not when you go into something more turnkey. You're gonna have a lot less problems and maintenance issues and headaches as landlord. If your unit was just renovated or is brand new, things really shouldn't be breaking as often. You're not going to be getting those calls in the middle of the night, and you're not going to be spending as much money out of pocket fixing these things, which is the biggest aspect to me. When you do your calculations on your return on investment, you can sleep a lot easier at night knowing that you're not going to have as many issues, at least in the shorter term of the first couple years. Chances are you're paying a little more to get into something turnkey, and while there's no way to get around the fact that paying more for something is not as great as paying less for something, and it hurts value, what you will get is a chance to write off the interest on the investment that you made. So the interest on the loan you can write off. On top of that, depreciation you'll be able to write off. So by having a higher purchase price, you're gonna have more depreciation and more interest to write off. So the tax benefits are higher on a higher purchase price, especially from a depreciation standpoint. Where it gets really sweet is in Philadelphia, there's a 10-year tax abatement on the land. This is twofold for any investor. The first is you're not paying taxes, property taxes that is, on anything but the land. So you're saving a huge chunk in what other people might be paying for their homes for the first 10 years of owning this property. Philadelphia isn't keeping this around for much longer. It's supposed to change in 2021, but while it's still there, you can get the 10-year tax abatement and save big time on property taxes, keeping your mortgage a lot lower. The second thing to consider is your depreciation expense is gonna be a great factor down the line and currently. So when you're buying, say, a new construction house with a high sticker price, there's no taxes, so your mortgage relative to some other homes at a lesser cost may be exactly the same because you're just not paying property taxes, whereas these older homes, they are. So the mortgage balances out, but because on paper you paid a higher sticker price, your depreciation for the house, when you go to write off taxes, do write-offs for your taxes, the depreciation on the home is a lot higher. So you'll have savings there. And as a bonus, when you go to qualify for more investments in the future, lenders tend to price that appreciation back in because it wasn't a true cost that you necessarily incurred. So when they factor how much money you made year to year, they'll put the depreciation expense back in for you, and that'll help you qualify for more down the line. So to recap, newer construction will give you the advantage of the 10-year tax abatement and a much better depreciation value, whereas recently renovated homes will still have a good depreciation factor and a good interest write-off but new construction will be a little better in that sense, and both will have a lot of advantages over buying something a little bit older. When you go to get a flip and you do flip a house, you have to pay taxes on all the gains that you just had. So it's not a walk in the park by any means. And for anyone who has more money to invest but not as much time, getting something turnkey may be right for you. There it is, guys. I laid out for you today why buying a turnkey rental could be a great idea for some people. Now, just to reiterate, it's not the best for everyone, and there are strategies that will work better for some than others. There are definitely more profitable areas of real estate if you are willing to put in the time and want to get much more in depth on the research. But I will tell you that I have had a lot of success with turnkey rentals, and there's a lot of money to be made going turnkey. It can work very well for anyone who may be focused on other areas and their main agenda may be focusing on their career or improving their income otherwise and just want something more passive. Turnkey is the way to go. It'll help you out a lot. If you want to get started with some turnkey investments, feel free to reach out to me. Glad to help you get started and tell you a little more about my journey and figure out what the right path may be for you. Thanks for tuning in, you guys, and I'll catch you next time.